Hey, how's it going, everybody? Going to be, oh wow, Kevin, that was blazing fast. For those of you watching this on the replay, I always just take a minute and I try to gather some people from Facebook as well. And if anyone wants to notify Discord that we're officially live, please let me know that you did that. I'm just going to go on Facebook Live real quick, so bear with me. Hey, Facebook, just letting you know, we'll be live over on the YouTube stream for probably the next 30 minutes to an hour. We'll see how it goes. It always ends up going longer than I think it's going to, but we're doing just an old-fashioned question and answer session tonight. So come on over, join us for a fun conversation, and yeah, hope to see you there. Go to the YouTube channel, just search my name, Andrew Ladisaw, or you can search on YouTube, Kittanning, greatest city in the world, and you will certainly find me. But the stream is up right now, so check it out. All right, thank you. So, I don't have a ton to talk about tonight, other than just kind of some recap on the week. And so, if you want to ask any questions, I would love to have your interaction tonight. That would make this a lot easier for me, and we'll see what that looks like. Bear with me here. Okay. I got my little checklist now. So I'm like, Facebook Live did that. Looks like Kevin's already invited you all to like the stream. So feel free to like the live stream, and that's great. And then if any of you want to share this on social media or share it anywhere else, feel free to do that. That's the best way to get people here, is to share it and like it, all those kinds of things. Oh, 3D Maker's already on it as far as the Discord channel goes, so thank you. Very good. Appreciate that. Appreciate you connecting constantly, too. I know it's not always the easiest thing in the world since you're not even from Kittanning, but you are in the county, so that's really awesome. And, it's the best county in the world, obviously, so. I'm hoping you guys can hear me okay. I'm looking at the... Oh yeah, you shared it, and then looks like the Kittanning bot also shared it properly, so that's good too. All right, good. Very cool, very cool. Oh wow, Tina's in the house. Amazing. I can't believe Tina's here. Shouldn't you be sleeping or something? Don't you have work tomorrow? Tina works for me, so that's the joke. So that's good there. I'm trying to came at the speed of grape jelly. How was that grape jelly, by the way? I'm assuming it was good. I'm almost through my little container as well. Making so many things from the garden now. I have well, I should show you guys. Maybe that would be fun to do. Let me take you on a tour here real quick. Bear with me while I figure out how to do this. Okay. It's gonna get dark for a second, but I promise it'll get light. Okay, so I'll show you my bounty here today. Peppers. Look at all these peppers. I got like 40 of them. 40 good-sized green peppers. So that's really awesome. I'll take you in the basement too. Show you what's down there. You can see how Christian earned his grape jelly. And then I spent the afternoon today digging potatoes. We dug about 80% of them the other day. Kevin, who's on the live stream right now, and then his son Christian, we were digging potatoes. So show you what I got here. So this is all my potatoes. I might have to, let me turn on the other light. So this is like craziness. That's just the box of like scuffed up ones. Or no, that's not the box. Those boxes over there are scuffed up potatoes. So these are still good. And then there's got to be, I don't know, that's got to be probably 12 feet that way. And this is at least probably 9 feet this way. So over 100 square feet of potatoes. But we did all these last week, and then this week, or just today, I did this much here. So crazy amount of potatoes. It's pretty awesome though. So that should be a year's worth of potatoes for our family. And really, it only has to last like 40 weeks because by the middle of next summer, hopefully, I'll have more potatoes ready to go. So I don't know. I just think that's kind of cool. It's nice when the homestead stuff actually works out because this has been such a frustrating year for me because I haven't been able to spend as much time in the garden as I really need to. But, you get out what you put into it. But what's amazing about things like nature and God's creation is that there's always overabundance. There's always more. You always get more than you put into it. And so that goes with everything for God, whether that's a garden or whether that is, your personal relationship with Him. If I put 10 minutes into reading my Bible every day or 30 minutes into praying every day, you're going to get that back so many times over. And so it just applies in so many ways. So don't ever discount spending time with God or serving Him in any way or getting involved with the garden or anything like that. It's all His creation, and He's created everything for overabundance beyond anything you could ask or imagine. So that's my little soapbox there. So yeah, that's what I was spending the day doing, was getting things out of the garden. That's all the potatoes are done now. The grape jelly that we're talking about, we picked probably, I don't know, 5 or 6 like Walmart bags full of grapes, and then made homemade jelly out of it. So you make your grape juice, and then you make your jelly and canned it. So probably have a year's worth of jelly, year's worth of potatoes. Those peppers now, there's no way I'll be able to eat all those, so those will turn into pickled peppers probably. I have a really good pickle recipe that works really well with peppers, and they're just amazing. So great on like hot dogs and hamburgers and all that kind of stuff. So that'll be my next project. Probably make a video on that at some point this week. Although those videos never get that many views, but I don't know. That's okay. So yeah, what do you guys have? What do you have on your list as far as questions go? Ask me anything. We'll go into, everything from the Steeler game today all the way to, deep theology. I'll go wherever you want to go. Talk about gardening or parenting or marriage or whatever that might be. I'd be happy to talk about whatever you guys want to talk about. I do have a couple things on my list, but I'd rather just answer some questions. So let me go back and look at the comments here, and you go ahead and ask your questions, and I will stop and answer them as I go. Okay. Tina ate too much pumpkin cheesecake. You ate too much pumpkin cheesecake to go to sleep, I'm assuming. Although pumpkin cheesecake, that sounds like that's a good excuse. Pumpkin cheesecake sounds amazing, actually. I've never had anything like that, but I would like to try it. So if you have any left over, let me know. Let's see. Too many dang potatoes. Yeah, there's a lot of potatoes there. And you guys took, 2 or 3 garbage bags home of potatoes and greens and different things. So, you had a bunch too. So it's great. Overabundance. That's awesome. And then what I try in this year is when we, as we were digging them, we would dig the hole of potatoes and then put back in the biggest potato that we found in that hole. And so then hopefully those will be already planted for next year. Because the digging them up is actually, I think that part's easier than planting them in the spring, especially when my ground was hard and I was basically planting right into grass because I didn't till up my land at all. I just let the chickens kind of till it up. And then I would go through with this big broad fork. It's this awesome tool. If you don't know what it is, just look up a broad fork, or you could search my video history. You could search for a broad fork and you'll find my video. But It's a great tool, and just kind of dug up the grass a little bit more, let the chickens eat some more grass off of it, then just put compost on top of it, and then a layer of wood chips. And then I would just dig the potatoes down deep in and just dig out a hole, put the potato in, and just leave it all year. So that was really, it was an interesting experiment. It worked really, really well, especially with smaller potatoes. We have fingerlings, and it was awesome. Worked very good, but as you could tell. And that's all started from, those were all my potatoes from last year that I planted. So I bought potatoes one time 2 years ago when I started my garden, and now potatoes that are in the basement right now will be the ones I plant for next year if I do any extra, because I already have some in the ground. So good system. Try it out. Even if you just have a flower bed at home, like throw some potatoes in there. Like, why not? So if you have some potatoes that are going bad, starting to get eyes on them come springtime, just put them in the garden or put them in your flower bed. See what happens. What's the worst that could happen? Your flowers get fed by a rotten potato. That's the worst possible thing. That's pretty great. Anyway, that's probably enough gardening stuff. Potato jelly time. I don't know what potato jelly is, and I don't think I want to find out. That sounds terrible. Braden likes potatoes. Braden, you let me know, man. I will get you some potatoes. These little fingerling ones are just so good, roasted, or like when I make eggs in the morning, I'll just throw some potatoes in the same pan as I'm doing my eggs, and then put some seasoned salt on them. It's not even right how good it is. That's not even right. Pickled potato. Can you pickle a potato? You probably could. I don't know. I guess you could. It would be terrible, but you could probably do it. Anyway, Kevin says, do you ever feel non-deserving of God's love? I find myself feeling that way often, like nothing I can do will be worth eternity in heaven. Yeah, absolutely. We should always feel non-deserving of God's love because we don't deserve it. Ever. We don't deserve any of the good things that he gives us, to be perfectly honest with you. Every single one of us, and those of you that aren't Christians, you can just bear with me on this, but even if you're not a Christian, you can still agree with this statement. Every single one of us, if we would add up all the lies that we've ever told, or if we would add up all of the things that we've ever stolen, or all the different ways that we've been angry with people that weren't justified, or all the different things that we've been ungrateful for the things that we have, it would just add up and add up and add up, and it would just take over. We would never be able to possibly pay that back. If we would convert all those sins, all those bad things that we've done into money, we would owe billions upon trillions upon quadrillions of dollars. There's just no way that we could ever possibly pay it back. And the fact that when Jesus died for us, the fact that he paid for all of that, is a debt that we could never possibly pay back. We just can't do it. And that's why the Bible says that we must be born again. He has to change us from the inside, and then we belong to him. And so we can try to pay him back. We can try to live our lives differently because of what we feel that we owe him. But the fact is that we'll never be able to outgive God. You'll never be able to be deserving of his love. And that's the problem with basically every other religion. And this is, I don't want to offend anybody, but if you look at Islam and Buddhism and Hinduism, all of those religions are man trying to basically earn their way into heaven, and the fact is that you can't. We can't possibly pay back all of the wrong that we've done in this world. We can't do it. And so that's what makes Christianity so unique. That's what makes Jesus so unique. That's what makes the gospel, the good news, so unique, is that very fact. And so, yeah, I feel that way all the time, Kevin, and you'll probably always feel that way until the day that you die and you get to heaven, and you'll still feel that way, but it won't be this burden anymore. It'll just be this joy, because that's what it should be. Every time that you feel like you can't earn God's love or that you don't deserve God's love, it shouldn't ever bring you down. That should actually lift you up, because it should just be this overwhelming feeling of, I can't believe that he did that for me. I can't believe that he died for me. And so that should be this great, great joy for you, not this negative thing for you. So hopefully that helps. If it didn't, if you need to have a follow-up question on that, Kevin, just let me know. I'll preach all night. Yeah, I haven't preached in a few weeks, so I'm getting itchy. You know what I'm saying? All right, let's look at the other ones here. Okay. With all those grapes, will you be venturing into making homemade wine? Scott, I have made homemade wine before, not since I've been saved. With my last house, actually, in Greensburg, I sold all of my winemaking equipment, or I kind of gave it away with the house. I kind of wish I hadn't done that because I could still make root beer with it, or we could be making kombucha with it, or whatever. But I don't plan on making wine with the grapes because I don't think that I'll ever have enough to really make all that much. I'm not a big drinker anyways, and they're Concord grapes, so they're not wine grapes anyway. So the wine wouldn't even be very good. It would probably be overly sweet. It would be not. It's Concord grapes just don't make good wine, and I don't drink anyway. So let's see. But if you ever want to know how to make wine, I'm pretty. I know what I'm doing. I could definitely do it. Tiffany says, we're driving back now from the Steeler game and visiting family. It was a hot one today. It really was hot. I took the middle of the day off. I didn't dig potatoes until later in the day because I was still sweating. Once I got out there like 3:30, it was still really, really hot. It's got to change soon, right? I mean, it still feels like summer. I don't even know what's going on. Steelers though look good. You got a good Steeler game to go to. They beat the Falcons today, pretty good. The Vikings won also, so all of you Viking fans, I know there's so many on this stream, but all you Viking fans, beat the Super Bowl champs today. Although everyone's been beating the Super Bowl champs, so it's not a huge accomplishment, but it was in Philadelphia, and we won, and we really needed to win. So yeah, that's good. Candy Cane says, I was on a bike all day and it was very hot traveling from Fort City to Kittanning. Yeah, that would be. Although you're on the river, so hopefully that helped a little bit. And there's a lot of shade on that path, or on the trail. Try fried potatoes for breakfast. It's delicious. I know, Braden. I know, man. I just eat fried potatoes. I told my wife my one retirement goal is like just to eat bacon every day, bacon and eggs every day, and fried potatoes. It's just, I just don't know if life would be worth living without it. That's all I have to say. 3D Maker Kid feels that way also a lot. I understand. You'll feel that way forever. It's like I said though, it's just that you need to not let it get you down. That should actually lift you up. It's just like when someone's preaching at me and they're preaching about sin and how terrible people are. That never gets me down. That just makes me so happy, honestly. And I'm being totally honest when I say that. It gets me so excited when people talk about how terrible of a sinner I am because that just makes Jesus all the more great in my life. It just makes him even better and better than I thought that he was before. And so don't ever let that get you down. It should just make you so happy. Christian says, going from Fort City to Kittanning is like going from a mud puddle to a waterfall in beauty. I should have read that before I read it, but I guess it was good with the live reaction. No comment. I've been told I'd say I make fun of Fort City too much, so I'm trying to hold back. But Kittanning is the greatest city in the world. That's what the channel is all about. So I'm just leave it right there. If anyone else wants to leave Fort City comments, I'll be happy to read them. I'm just reading what you're writing, but I'm not gonna go there. 3D Maker says absolutely. Paul says, how do you help someone who won't let you help them? Paul, I'm not sure what exactly you're getting at there, but if somebody doesn't want help, you're just not going to be able to help them. In those situations where I really want to help someone, or I know that God wants to do something in somebody's life, but they will not accept help from me, what I do in those situations is I just back off and I leave them alone and I pray. You just commit it to prayer for a period of time, whether it's a week or a month or a year or however long, And you can literally put a reminder in your phone and just say, hey, 1 month from now, I'm going to talk to them again about that same thing. I'll see if I can help them. Or 1 week from now, I'm going to put a reminder in my phone and I'm going to pray about it in the meantime. You can get a prayer app on your phone. You can get a handy dandy, little notebook like this. Write your prayers in there. Or I have an app on my iPad that's a prayer app. So just if they don't want to be helped, but they need help, they just back off, pray about it, and set a reminder for yourself so you don't forget, and come back around, circle back around in a week or a month or however long you feel that you should wait. So hopefully that helps. Christian says, sorry, not sorry, Kittanning all the way. With you. I'm with you. Kevin Myers says, Paul Hooks, chloroform. Don't take that advice. 3D Maker says, you help them. Just a nice knock to the head. Yeah, you guys have terrible advice. Jonathan says, hey, Andrew, how was your day today? You know what? My day was really, really great. We had Sunday's kind of become my rest day. Although I dug potatoes today, so how restful was that? But I only dug potatoes for like 2 hours. So I had church this morning. I was leading worship because our normal worship leader's away. We had what I thought was a great worship service. I don't know if any of you were there. You can let me know how it was. But I thought the worship service was great. And then we had a great message from Pastor Luke today. And so very, very happy with church. Also, then I came home. We just got just had some rest time with the family. Had some eggs and potatoes and pork for lunch. So, great there. And then we had cocoa eats for dinner as our new Sunday night tradition. When I was growing up, every Saturday morning, we always had cocoa eats. My grandma would always make cocoa eats for me. And cocoa eats, when they're made correctly, have sugar and butter and heavy cream. And so that's now how I make cocoa eats for my kids. Every single one of them loves it. And we eat like a loaf of bread and cocoa eats together every Sunday night. And it's just it's like the best thing ever. So I got things off my list. I had 2 great meals with my family. We had an awesome church service, so the day was just fantastic. And plus, it was beautiful. When do you get an 80-degree day in October? It's just craziness. I love it. There we go. So hopefully that answers that. My day was wonderful. No exaggeration whatsoever. Kevin says, do you have any birch trees near your place that we could tap or skin? I haven't made birch tea in a long time. It's like heaven in a glass. Kevin, I do not know. I don't believe I do. I have several walnut and butternut trees. I have obviously lots of fruit trees you've seen. I have 47 fruit trees at my house. Have a couple pines and hickories, and then I have some maples and some oaks. But I don't think I have any birch trees. I'm sure there's some near here somewhere, but I'm not aware. Let's see. And I've never had birch tea, but I'm interested now. Now you've piqued my interest. So now we need to find a birch tree, and now we need to make it, and now we need to make a video out of it so that everyone can taste it. 3D Maker Kid says, went to the Delmont Apple Festival today. Very hot. I've never been to the Delmont Apple Festival. There's another place that has an apple festival. Is it Smicksburg? Does Smicksburg have an apple festival? Someone can tell me, but that sounds good. I like everything apples, obviously. You guys know that by now. Tina says, I have to work tomorrow. Good night. Thanks, Tina. Thanks for stopping in. You're probably already gone, but God bless you. I love you, Tina. 3D Maker Kid says, go Apollo. We got one representative for Apollo in here tonight. Apollo's a cool little town. I like all 3 of those towns down there, actually. Apollo, Leechburg, and Vandergrift I like them all. They're all cool to go and visit. They all have their own unique thing going on, and they're all great in their own way. Candy Cane says, Kittanning number 1. Kittanning for life, Dustin says, sorry I wasn't in church. I'm feeling under the weather. Think I'm getting the flu bug. That's not good, Dustin. And you've been going through a lot, I know. So, get some rest, my friend. That can be a lot emotionally taxing, physically taxing, all that kind of stuff. But Anyone on here that wants to say a quick prayer for Dustin, please say a prayer for Dustin. Christian says, Kevin Myers, the good Lord said, thou shalt not chloroform your neighbors. Absolutely. I'm pretty sure that's in there somewhere. It's in the Bible somewhere. Tiger Greg says, eventually you should run for mayor of Kittanning. You definitely have its best interest at heart. I would totally run for mayor at some point if Mr. Scott Klein didn't want to do it anymore. The problem is that I don't live within the borough anymore, so I'm no longer eligible to run for mayor unless council would change that rule somehow. But I'm not sure if that's like a state level rule or if it's city level or what it is. But someone posted it the other day that Mike Rizzo and I should run for county commissioner. So now that's something I could run for. However, I think if I do that, State Farm, I believe, will fire me if I win because they don't want their agents to be politically connected like that. There's some conflicting things there. But anyway, that's a different story. But maybe someday I would do something like that. The county needs a lot of help too, so for sure. Although I'm not at all actually disappointed with our county commissioners. I think for what they've been given, I think they're doing a pretty good job. They've made some decent changes. Although I don't see any kind of grand vision or grand like moving forward of our county. That's still kind of frustrating for me. I would love to see just some kind of vision that would just be that we could all get on board with, that we could all drive towards. That's my kind of frustration with Kittanning Borough also. It's not that I think that they're doing a bad job. It's just that I don't see where they're going, and no one else does either. And so that makes it difficult for all of us to kind of get behind and make a big push for change. So that's kind of what I try to do just from a personal level anyway, because it's frustrating for me that I don't see it happening. And so I'm just like, I'm going to push forward anyway and do my own thing. So that's kind of how this all started anyway. So I guess it's a good thing. Whatever. Tiffany says, Ford City and Kittanning couple here. I'm the awesome Kittanning one. I love that. If you're married to, if you're from Kittanning and you're married to someone from Ford City, you really did them a favor, honestly. So, Tiffany, tell your husband, you really did him a favor by, you didn't have to do that. But you're obviously, you're a saint of some kind, Let's see. Kevin says, everyone remember to like the video. Thank you for the constant reminders, Kevin. That is super helpful for me as well. Everyone like the video. There's 14 people here. There's only 8 likes. What is happening? It only takes a second, you guys. Just like it. Let's do this thing. 3D Maker says. It was pretty funny. Paul says, the churchyard is cut and looks better now. Thank you, sir. I'm assuming that you did that. I'm very, very glad that happened. Hopefully that's the last time we have to cut it. If the weather would just get a little colder, the grass would stop growing and everyone would be happy. Andrew Lattisaw, how do you feel about no trespassing laws? It's all God's land. That's a hard one. I still don't think you should trespass on someone else's property. I don't see any reason to, I know that it's all God's land, all that kind of stuff, but what is one of the best things about the United States is that we have the ability to own property. That is something that I think we really take for granted, but not every country is like that. And so the ability to own your own property and to be able to manage it and to take care of it, I think is an amazing thing. And so I just would love to keep that. I think if you want to keep people off of your property, I think that's your own prerogative. And then you have the ability to invite anyone that you want onto your property, and you have the ability to keep anyone off of your property that you want. I think both of those are good things. And it incentivizes, I think this is what it comes back to for me, is the whole world is about incentives. And so if you can do proper incentives, then that makes your city or your county or your country work better. And so one of the great incentives of our country is that you can purchase property, you can improve it how you want to, and then it's yours. Like you get to keep it. That's a wonderful incentive that actually drives our economy to a totally different place. And if you would remove that incentive and you would say anyone can go anywhere at any time, then all of a sudden people would not improve their properties, they would not improve their businesses, and overall it would be a terrible thing because all of a sudden you're de-incentivizing people from working hard and putting their effort into improving the world around them. And so that's why I am probably very much for trespassing laws. Now, you don't have to be a jerk about it, so that's a different thing. But so overall, I wouldn't get rid of it. I wouldn't get rid of trespassing laws. Hopefully that answers the question. I don't know. Candy Cane says she used to live in Apollo. Cool little city. I thought it was interesting how they changed the name of Apollo after the moon landing. That's really I can't remember what it was called before, but didn't that happen? I'm pretty sure I read that somewhere. And then when they had their big anniversary, they did all the different themes to celebrate. I don't know if it was 200 years or something that Apollo has been a city, but I thought that was really cool. Franklin Apple Fest was all weekend. I was there. It's my hometown. Very hot there too. Glad to be back. I don't know where Franklin is. Where is Franklin, PA? Someone explain it to me in the comments. Kevin is thinking of you, Dustin. That's good. Tiger Greg. Kevin, we own a lot of property, and most people do that because if you get hurt on someone's land, they may come back and sue you if they get hurt on it. Yeah, that's another thing, too. You don't want to... you don't want to get sued. That's a liability exposure for sure. Speaking from an insurance perspective, as in your insurance professional, you don't want to just allow anybody on your property. It's just the way it is. And if you're going to allow people on, you should still have it posted. Just say, hey, people shouldn't be here because that does cover you from a liability perspective, or it can help, I should say. Yeah, the way our court system is, it doesn't always cover you no matter how well it's posted, whatever. But it can help for sure. Kevin says, it seems all the woods around here are posted. I love walking in the woods. I find it disheartening. I do understand that, but one of the main problems for us is in Armstrong County, we're one of the only counties without a state park. Yeah, we have different areas. We have the trail, obviously. We have like the Buttermilk area, and there's different areas to go explore. Crooked Creek is another good one. But yeah, it would be really nice if we had a state park right next to Kittanning or something that you could then go and explore and do your own thing. But you do have to drive a pretty significant distance to get to a large tract of public land. So I get the frustration. I understand it. Maybe posted mainly for hunters. Probably I won't take the chance though. Yeah, it was best, especially in Armstrong County, not to risk trespassing on people's land for sure. I did have the house we were looking at had 60 acres before the one that we bought now. We only have 3 acres now, which is fine. It's great. It's totally blessed. But we looked at a property with 60 acres, and it had 2 ponds on it, had a stream that ran through it, and had this just amazing 50 acres of like solid wooded area and then 10 acres of like farmable land. It was just amazing, and I wanted it so, so bad. And the deal fell through right at the last minute. So frustrating, but I'm happy where we are. But my wife and I, we always still talk about that property. Like, if it would come back up, would we buy that house and then sell our house? And it was like, maybe. Because, like, I'm like you, Kevin. I want to have, like, a big area that I could just go and walk around on. And especially if it was mine, it'd be even better. And then you could come anytime you wanted to. Quick update on Jamie's dad. Sorry, I'm just reading the comment. I'm just making sure it's something that I can read live here. He is off life support. Wow. So that is like, that's crazy. That's a miracle, man. That's a straight up miracle. He's been fighting for almost a month now. I'm hoping that he makes it through this and gave us a scare over the weekend, but made it, even though they called the family. Wow. That's craziness. That's really great. That's like fantastic news. We were just praying for him on Thursday, and obviously I've been praying for him for almost a week. But yeah, that's awesome. 3D Maker says, fortunately, people cannot own the airspace above their property. Yeah, that's true. Although if you have drones flying on your property, I believe you do have the right to shoot them. So there's that. Use a shotgun, not a rifle. Okay, Christian says, what if... Christian says, follow me here. A rare Pokemon happens to be on someone's property, and I just so happen to walk over and get it. You know, if you shoot a deer and it goes onto someone's property, you're allowed to go get the deer. So I think with Pokemon, I think that's pretty much the same thing, you know? Um, just try it out, Christian. Just you try it. Don't anyone else try it. Just Christian, you try it and just let us know next week on the live stream how it went. Jonathan Tarr, Franklin, PA, in the middle of Venango County, about an hour and a half to the northwest. Yes, okay. I know Venango County. I know Emlenton, I believe, is in Venango County, so I'm guessing you're pretty close to there, probably a little bit north of Emlenton, I'm guessing. I could just look at a map, but I don't have time to do that right at this second, but I'll look it up when I'm done. Kevin says, not allowed to drive for other safety. Yes, I know. I know that. Camden says, hey, Andrew, my team, the Armstrong Warriors, have an undefeated season, and now we are going to the playoffs. That is awesome, man. I'm so happy for you. Go Armstrong Warriors. I guess that maybe means that at some point in the future, there will be a really great Riverhawks football team that will come out of that. And so I'm looking forward to, as you get older, for like a state championship or something for the Riverhawks. 3D Maker says, no shooting down drones. It is illegal. I checked before I flew over someone else's property. I'm just saying, in Armstrong County, you fly drones on someone else's property, your drone may get shot. Christian says, just asking, do you get Wi-Fi in jail in case it doesn't work? I don't think you get Wi-Fi in jail, Christian. I don't think you get your cell phone either. Tiger says, if I think a drone is spying, I'm shooting it down. Yeah. I think that's the tack most people would take in Armstrong County, truly. And if I would be getting a drone, like hopefully someday I'm going to get a drone, and I will have a Mavic Air, so it'll be a more expensive drone just because of the video quality. And yeah, I don't think I'll take it anywhere too risky. I mean, I'll take it over the river and stuff like that, but I won't take it anywhere risky where like I'm going to make someone mad. So there you go. I think I actually got to the end of the questions. We're 38 minutes in. So let me just ask you guys. I'm going to try. I don't have someone lined up for the podcast yet, and I actually need to record 2 podcasts this week just because of some things that are going to be happening the following week. So I'm going to try to record 2. So if you guys could help me out, I'm going to try to get Scott Davis. Scott Davis is a city council person. I know that he's in town at the moment, and so I'm hoping to steal him for an hour at some point this week for a podcast. And so do you guys have any questions for Scott Davis? I do plan on asking him about parking in Kittanning, all of those kinds of things. But if you have any other things that you could ask your city council person, if you could put those in the comments, I need like 3 to 5 questions from you guys. And so no matter how silly you think it is, whatever it is, just please ask it right now. Just type a comment in there for me, a question for them, and I will be happy to ask it in some fashion. If it's not appropriate or something like that, I'll adjust it. And if I don't think it's relevant, I'll turn it into something relevant. But give me your questions right now for your local city council person, Scott Davis. I'll wait. Sorry, I'm going to sit on the floor because my back's starting to hurt from leaning forward. Because I was leaning forward all afternoon digging potatoes. Any questions? Any questions? 3D Maker's question is, do I have permission to take out the parking meters? I will totally ask that. Um, and I may just I may request that they either change the meter in front of my office, because it was a 2 hour meter before, and they actually just took out my 2 hour meter and put in a 1 hour meter, which is like, that's way worse. That did not help me. That made my life worse. So, not only, and maybe it's just, maybe they think that I still don't like the meter maid or something, but did not help whatsoever. Plus, we just need to get rid of the parking meters. Oh, I just hate it. Kevin says, ask them if they have considered making the trail and adjacent parking lots work together to make biking to work and shops more accessible for people. Have they considered making the trail and adjacent parking lots work together? Okay, so I'm trying to make sure that I know what you're asking. Are you like suggesting that they put bike racks and bike locks available there for people to bike into town, park their bike, and then be able to walk downtown? Is that what you're asking? Please clarify for me so that I can ask it properly. Okay, so that is what you're asking. So I want to. I will go into that. I think most of the parking lots though are privately owned. However, the ones for the county, I don't see why not. I don't know why they haven't done that already. Actually, yeah, that would make total sense. And then you could use different areas like the between next here and Citizens, where where the new clock is. That'd be a great spot for like some attractive bike rack spaces. That would be a great place to park too, so then you have access up and down both sides of the street. I'm trying to think of where else. Well, I guess the city does own lots. They own lots all over the place. So they own the lot by the liquor store across from Habitat. They own the lot behind Next here, and they own the lot by Walker Motors. So they have several different lots that they do own. So that's probably a pretty great idea, actually. So thank you for that question. I will definitely ask it and see if that's something, because that's one of the major future plays for Kittanning, I think, is the tourism play. Especially, the dream is that someday the Pittsburgh Trail, the trail that runs from Washington, D.C. to Pittsburgh, would then connect from Pittsburgh all the way up to Erie, and that would use the Armstrong Trail and come right through Kittanning. That would make Kittanning one of the main stops of an industry that would bring in millions upon millions of tourism dollars. And so, to make the town as friendly as possible for biking would be a great, great thing. So, love that. Love that idea. And I'll definitely ask that. Camden says, Curtis says, trying to think. Give me a moment. Yes, Curtis, please think and please give me a question. I would appreciate it. Camden says, the Steelers finally won a game, 41-17. They did finally won. They looked a little better today. The defense at least didn't give up 50, so that's good. Kevin says they know a cash cow when they see one. That's the thing, though, is they don't even hardly make any money at it. I can go get the report. The city makes that available, so I'm going to do that again in the near future. I got it before just because I wanted to see how much money they make off it. It's like peanuts. The city budget's like $2 million, and you're talking like it was like 10 grand they were making. It just doesn't make any sense. You're losing businesses. You're losing buildings downtown, which is a bigger hit in the long run tax-wise. It's just, I don't know. I just don't get it. Okay. Cannibal or Christian says, think they could fix up some of the crosswalks. Like a good bit are fine, but a few seem faded or gone, and cars blow through them like it's nothing. Yeah, I agree with you, Christian. I actually suggested when they were originally doing the streetscape project, I suggested making the crosswalks really wide and making the painting on them really wide to take up as much space as possible, because the streets, especially Market Street, is so wide. Like for any kind of main street, it's really, really wide. And that's helpful because it's a state road, so semi trucks can come through, all that kind of stuff. But at the same token, it makes it really unsafe for pedestrian traffic, because when a road is wider, it makes you feel like you can drive faster. And so I actually suggested, as part of that, was be to like paint super bright and paint it wider than you think it needs to be painted, and then you could hopefully slow people down a little bit. So, Tiger says, "Do they really make that much with the parking meters?" Okay, I think I already answered that. Fund the Kevin says, "Yes, they make enough to fund the concerts just from Andrew." It's probably true. I have to be one of their best customers as far as parking goes, because I plug several meters every day, and then I also pay all the tickets. So, although Tina pays her own tickets, she won't. Most of the time, she won't let me pay for hers. Bike racks would help with transportation, obesity, children's positive activities, several other things. Totally agree with you. And then you could advertise like where the bike racks were, and then you could put trail maps there. You could do all that kind of stuff. It's a great idea. It really is. Curtis says, "What is going to happen with the middle school lot?" I can actually tell you what's going to happen there. It was just in the paper last week. So they're giving the old middle school where the basketball courts were. That part is going to be given to the historical society, which was their big push. They were trying to get that to the historical society. I hope that they do something good with it. I hope it doesn't just sit there and rot like it is now. And then the other side where the actual middle school was is going to be senior housing. And so it's going to be I think it's at a 3 or 4 story building with 50 plus units in it. And there will be some green space there, and it should be nice. It's not my preferred option. It's not my first option, but it's okay. It'll be a good thing in the long run, I believe. And it's gonna be better than nothing, certainly. I really wish they would have done. I wish they would have tried for something like another park, but from what I've heard, they are working on grants for Wayland Park, and so that should be really great. I would love. I know you're into skate parks, Curtis, and I would love to see like a skate park of some kind happen right there in Wayland Park in that big empty field that's there. You could put a drop in on there and put some different course obstacles, and I think that would be really really great. So, hopefully they get a big grant for Wayland Park and they can do some really cool stuff there. I know they've talked about turning the tennis courts into deck hockey, upgrading the playground equipment, putting proper gates on there so that they could make sure that there's not drug activity in there during the night, all that kind of stuff. So, anyways, so I need another question, Curtis. That's not going to do. You have to give me another one. The crosswalk should have those immersed reflectors like the highways have. Yes, they should. Definitely should. True, those old people trying to cross the wide street could be dangerous. It is. It really is. And then people get those motor scooters going downtown. I'm just scared someone's going to get hit eventually. Are they going to fix the traffic lights and walk signs by the bridge and at the intersection in town so people in the crosswalks don't get hit, I'm assuming, when they're told to walk by the signs? I wasn't aware that was a problem, Paul. I'm going to go down and check that out to get a better idea of what you're actually talking about. Christian says, lastly, instead of flowers and stuff hanging from things downtown, why not some tomatoes or berries, like a little snack or something? Like where the little trees are, tons of tomatoes could be. That's true. What they're going for down there, though, is a certain aesthetic, and so the problem with food growing things is normally they're not pretty, and so tomato plants are not pretty. They they don't stay contained. They just kind of go and do their own thing, and there's lots of places to plant tomatoes. So pick an abandoned house, pick a flower bed there, put some tomato seeds in it, and see what happens. So, but I'll ask them. I'll ask them about maybe we could do something in the park. Use one of the places in the park that doesn't get taken care of a lot. It'd be cool even if you had just like 1,000-foot food forest there, 1,000-square-foot food forest, because you could put in, in 1,000 square feet. What would that be? Maybe you need a little more than that, but a couple thousand square feet, you could put in 10 fruit trees, put in berry bushes all around it, put in some perennial greens, all that kind of stuff, and just make a food forest in town. That would be amazing, and I don't know why we wouldn't do that. That'd be awesome. But I'll ask about it. Maybe it's an idea that they would be interested in taking on. And you can get grants for stuff like that too. People get into that. Our walk signal, Kevin says, our walk signals should have sounds. They say walk or stop for the elderly. We have a lot of elderly in Kittanning. True. I was just in where was I? Oh, I was downtown Pittsburgh. The lights in downtown Pittsburgh. I have video coming out hopefully tomorrow if I can finish the edit. But in downtown Pittsburgh, all the lights they have like this beeping sound, so that you know how much time that you have left, and it beeps, and then it has a countdown on there too, so you know when the light's actually going to turn green for the other way. So you know you have like 8 seconds left to get across the street, and so that's pretty nice. I wish ours were kind of like that too, but it's a really neat system. The Pittsburgh video though, I took 160 video clips. Like my average video is between 50 and 75 of really big videos, like 100 video clips. The Pittsburgh video, 160. So just imagine how much editing that's going to be. I'm like a quarter of the way done with it, and once this live stream is over, I'm going to work on it for like 2 hours at least, probably before bed, and so hopefully I can knock out as much as possible. 160 clips. Like, who films that much? It's ridiculous. Uh, Hysterical society. I don't know what that means. I'm not going to get into it, but they were a little hysterical when they thought they weren't going to get that property. Kevin says the ones by the bridge. When it tells you to walk, the cars on the bridge heading towards Sheets have the green light. Oh, wow. Okay. So when you're trying to cross to the park, I'm assuming. Yeah, that is dangerous. Tiger says with the name. Yeah, yeah. Berries and tomatoes are tasty for sure, no doubt about it. But they're probably not going to allow that on Market Street. But I can ask. Curtis says, "Is there any way City Council could buy some electric bikes to rent, like places in Pittsburgh do? I think that would be a really interesting thing to do. Now that's a cool idea. Like or like have you seen the bird scooters that they have in California now? I don't know if that's what they're called, but look those up. They're really cool. They're like rental scooters, and then they work off an app. You can rent it with your app for I think it's $1, and then you pay so much for per minute. It's like 10 cents a minute or something like that. But they're all battery powered, and they have charging stations all over town. It looks really really cool. Sarah says, "Did you go to Kittanning or Ford City High School?" I went to neither. I actually grew up in Minnesota, so I grew up about an hour from Fargo, North Dakota, an hour east. So, in a little town, I grew up in a little town called Hawley, Minnesota, and then I actually went to high school in Perham, Minnesota, Perham. So, if you want to look up Perham, Minnesota, you can see where I went to high school and graduated from before I came to Pittsburgh. Kevin says, plus downtown there are some signs that say no bicycles on sidewalks. Sometimes with cars parked on both sides, it's too dangerous for bikes on the road. You can get doored or run over. If we have no dedicated bike lanes, they should not say no bicycles on sidewalks. I get that. It's not as busy as in other cities, but yeah, it is dangerous definitely for bikes to be with the regular traffic, in my opinion, and it's a pain for traffic too. So I don't know. I think you should be able to ride a bike and stuff on sidewalk, but that's just me. A lot of these ideas are great, but Kittanning doesn't have the budget like most Pittsburgh neighborhoods. That's absolutely true. We don't have the budget, but a lot of that stuff is purchased with grant money. And so you look at the big Kittanning revitalization project downtown, that was pretty much all grant money. If you look at all of the sidewalks that they've changed and put those yellow things in there, which are actually, I think, for blind people so they know where they're at, they have little bumps on them. And so those actually were all done with grant money as well. So it's not city money for the most part that's done the work around Kittanning. It's grant money from a state and a federal level. So Cannibal says, "I'm still suggesting the Dunka Pasture would make tons of money. Hey, sounds like a good fundraiser. Let's make it happen." Paul says, "Good night." Yeah, I'm going to be saying good night too, Paul, pretty soon. Good night, my friend. Kevin, I agree we need to sell off Ford City and use Now that's an idea. That's an idea. I do think someday Kittanning and Ford City and West Kittanning should look at a merger for things like the police department, the garbage system, sewer facility, water company, all those kinds of things. I think there could be a lot of money savings if those three cities would actually work together and make it. They could save a lot of money from an administrative standpoint, from a policing standpoint, and from a city worker standpoint. That's one man's opinion, but yeah. But selling off Ford City for Kittanning, I mean, why not? Why not? Kevin says the property we owns in Ford City. Tiger, you're gonna have to move, I guess. You can move to Kittanning, so good news. Sarah says we should have more fun places for teens, like roller skating and other things, because all you could do is skating during the winter and glow bowling during the summer. I could see that. There's a lot of stuff in the park. I think it's underrated. I think there's more stuff to do than people think. But I think the generation that's coming up is also not interested in the same things that we were. And so I love going to a roller skating rink and I love going to the bowling alley. But I don't know. My kids don't even know what either of those things are. So I don't know. We're entering a different time, and we probably have to get some ideas from the kids and see what they actually want that we could build, and then take their lead. Let them take the lead on it. We can fund it and do the work and make something happen for them. Christian says Ford City is the garbage system. Oh my. Tiger says you could sell the town. We're near Brick Church. Oh man, we're just going drastically downhill. I'm gonna have to end this thing pretty soon. Christian says, with that, I'm signing off. We have to make Duncan Pasture dream a reality. We'll do it someday. We'll do it someday. I live in Aspinwall. My mother's in Kittanning. Okay, very good, very good. Kevin, there is a wild edibles course in Worthington, I believe. There's someone out there that does them a couple times a year, and I really want to do it. You and I should go sometime and make that happen. All right, guys. It's been a long one. I always think, certainly we don't have more than a half an hour's worth of stuff to talk about, but you guys make it so stinking fun to be here. I just love talking with you. I'm so glad that you're part of this team. If you're not subscribed to this channel already, please subscribe. We just passed 650 subscribers. We are almost 2/3 of the way to the goal of 1,000, and I'm just like so excited. So excited. And yeah, anyways, guys, God bless you. Appreciate you being here. Appreciate the questions that you asked. Curtis, I saw the question. I will put that on my list. And God bless you guys. Have a wonderful day. And I will see you in the next one.